Time after time, I send out email and no one seems to be opening them. What's the problem? What could I do to fix this? Find out soon in this Your Charisma YouTube video where we're going to do a deep dive on how to increase your open rates on emails. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, guys? Nathan Olson from Your Charisma, and today we're going to be talking about how to increase the open rates of your emails. Email marketing is still one of the strongest forms of communication in the business industries today. Whether you're sending a newsletter subscription, a discount, or even a product notification, this is all information that your customers need to know in order to make a smart and valuable purchase. Not only that, it allows your brand to stay in constant communication with your consumer to really strengthen and build that brand-to-business relationship. When it comes to email marketing, getting customers to open the email is probably one of the most difficult pieces of the actual sale. It's like making the initial sale. It's tough to get that individual to crack open your email and actually read the information. Typically, a lot of emails correspond with salesy subject lines that get skipped over, product notifications that are absolutely useless to the customer. But when it comes to email marketing, open rates are a very tough thing to increase. On average, in 2018, about 18% of emails were opened across all industries. How exactly can you increase your percentage of open rates for your business? And when it comes to understanding the tactics of this, you really need to focus on subject lines. Subject lines are the first piece of information that individuals will see in their email inbox. It will be what gives them an insight as to the information that might be contained within that email. This is your bread and butter. In the same form that Twitter had kind of exploded as a social platform, reducing the amount of characters to about 120 to 140 when it first started out, people never thought that it would be such a viable platform and that people would want to speak in such short sentences. But Twitter platform has exploded, and this short content has really grabbed a lot of people by hold, and it's taken a lot of individuals to become very creative with their words, very descriptive, because every single letter and word counts. The same is true when it comes to email marketing subject headlines. You want to make sure that every single word and character counts. And when it comes to email marketing, I like to use the curiosity, excitement, or informative subject headline breakdowns. When it comes to spreading information in the same type of viral content, there are 3 different types of subject headlines that I like to use. That's going to be informative, educative, and then entertaining. And when it comes to entertaining, I like to break it down into either funny or curious. Just going through some of the examples, one of the best forms that I've seen in my open rates is specifically when you pique the end user's curiosity. Whether that be asking a crazy question like, do you keep spoiled milk in your fridge? And then that type of subject headline could really entice the individual to click. Because why on earth would this business for, let's say, an electrical company, why would they be sending me an email in reference to spoiled milk? When you click on the email, you quickly find out a short little descriptive and narrative that kind of ties in that type of metaphor into possibly switching out your smoke detector. Because in the same fashion that milk can spoil and go bad, so can the technological devices in your actual house, whether that be smoke detectors, other types of monitors and sensors. All of those are very important, and it would be very bad if they went out of service. And, the same is true when milk goes bad. It's not appealing, and it's not something that we want or care for. That's why this type of metaphor is what really, increases that open rate for a particularly not so interesting topic, changing smoke detectors. Not typically the best subject headline that you would want to put into your email. Another great example, guys, is the informative style. This is where, you're coming out with a very shocking statement that the individual would really want to know about. This is especially useful in your email sequences. Whether you're trying to warm up or nurture a lead, adding informative content not only provides value between your brand and business, or between your brand and consumer, strengthening that relationship, but it also can help you nurture that lead and push them to a sale or conversion. And types of informative content that you could utilize in your email autorespond or a subject headline could be like 5 tips to stay skinny in the summer season. That type of subject headline would get a lot more clicks than specifically new workout for spring summer. Also, when it comes to informative, we want to understand that this type of information should be useful to your actual consumer or end reader. You want this information to be applicable to their everyday life. The way that informative differs from educational is that educational typically just talks about a specific topic or maybe a piece of content within the community or niche that's of, high value, of viral understanding, and that other people would like to talk about or maybe hear about. Informative content is specifically applicable to the everyday end consumer, whether that be a how-to video or maybe even a 5 best tips. And when it comes to informative content, I've seen this being kind of my second tier form of email headline. I see this one with a very high open rate, and it's typically going to be in the form of how to or, best practices. Those types of verbiage are something that really trend very well, not only in the blog title industry, and that's kind of where I'm able to apply that as the blog SEO understanding of keywords is directly applicable to that email headline. And it's, it's very almost copy and paste when it comes to writing a good blog title line and a good email headline. They're very similar, and you want to increase overall click-through on both. That's why I like to utilize the same type of titles for my blog informative content on my email headline content. Because specifically in those emails, I'm usually directing traffic to those blogs. So it would make sense that the subject line as well as the content is unified and consistent. When it comes to educational, usually the shock factor and curious factor also plays in. Let's say, for example, that you're in the health and wellness field and that you create a specific dietary supplement or even a normal supplement for overall health and wellness of the body. When it comes to educational content and educational headlines, you want to go for a shock and awe factor. You want to shock the individual on the front end and then give them an awe learning experience on the back end. And the all learning experience is going to come from the email content, but the shock factor should actually be placed into your headline of your email. And what does a shock factor look like? Let's say, for the example, that you're in the health and wellness field and you have this dietary supplement. Let's say that it promotes strong bones. Let's say, using this example, our example of a shock factor for the educational status could be, did you know that your bones are likely to shatter under 4 pounds of pressure? That statement might not be true, but it's important to do your research and find a very interesting fact that individuals might be a little curious and a little shocked that this might be true. There's a lot of crazy, health and wellness types of facts that are out there, and a lot of them are shocking to an individual. I heard this one the other day, and I also researched it and found out to be true, that a cat has 32 bones in each one of its ears, 64 altogether. Not typically something that you would learn in everyday life, and it's a little bit shocking. And that might actually cause me to maybe click on that specifically if I'm interested in the cat niche, and maybe my cat I've just visited a vet, and that vet has sent me that piece of content through email, and that vet headline was 32 bones in your cat's ears, find out how to make sure each one stays safe. And that would be an educational sell point as well as an educational headline that would increase your overall click-through. So guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Make sure to stay tuned to the next one where we're going to be giving out great content. Stay tuned.